and welcome to the show. And what a great show we have lined up for you today, haven't we, Danny?
Amazing, absolutely. We've got some great guests with us today.
Yeah, two corkers on the couch. Danny, you can introduce our first guest as if the fabulous uniform hadn't given it away a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got Alan Rutter from the Royal Hospital Chelsea, who's a great friend of the business and someone I go back 3 years with. So,
OK, we'll be hearing more about that. Hi, Alan, you're right.
Hello.
And we also, next to Alan, have Amanda, one of the trustees of the Western Front Way. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Danny, tell me how you got in touch with Alan in the first place. There must be a story there.
Yeah, well, I've got this motto, as you know, which is pushing boundaries, and we're doing this amazing project in Chelsea that we started just over 3 years ago. And of course, I wanted to push the boundaries beyond that. And of course, it connected us to our great neighbours at the Royal Hospital in Chelsea. And this is where I met Alan. We've got a great story there, and it goes back nearly 3 years now. So.
And then I know then, in, what was it, 2016, you took Alan to McLaren.
That's
and now
correct.
You're a bit of a petrol head.
Yes, I just love Formula One. Love Formula One.
So how was it? Was that your first time in 2016 at McLaren?
It was, and it was just amazing. It was one of the best days ever in my entire life.
Oh, we're going to top that today.
No, well, OK.
You've not peaked yet,
Really?
yet. So that now brings me to Amanda. So Amanda, what's your connection here with Alan? When did you two connect?
Well, it wasn't over Formula One, actually. but I'm a trustee of something called the Western Front Way, which is a UK charity, very small, not been going for very long, and our purpose is to build a commemorative path, a path for peace along the line of the entire Western Front. The 1418 war. And Alan had an idea, slightly mad, I have to say, I think, of wanting to walk the entire length of the front. And he actually got in touch with us, which was great. So about 6-7 weeks ago, he got in touch via the website and said, I'd like to do this. Can you help? Do you have a map? And lo and behold, we could.
And here we are. So Alan, what gave you this mad moment? Where did this come from?
Well, I love an adventure. I'm only 71 years old, so
I don't believe it.
You know, a whole lot of life to live ahead of me, really, and not ready to put my slippers on yet and warm myself by the fire. So I love an adventure, and I did the Santiago pilgrimage 5 years ago, and wanted to do another long walk. And when I read about the Western Front opening up, I thought, well, that's something I really want to do, and I thought I should do it this year because. I might not be quite so fit next year, so I shouldn't risk it. And,
no, I'm sure you will, but it's always good to grab the bull by the horns, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, so was it obviously your career in the army? Did that sort of lead you towards looking at a walk of this type?
Yeah, I've always enjoyed walking. And being a Chelsea pensioner, I've had opportunities to go to the beaches and do the beach tour. I've never really looked at the World War One scenario, and I thought this would be a great way to find out more about the Western Front. I mean, for a number of reasons, really. I like adventure. I want to pay homage and honour the folk that gave their lives in the First World War, and it's an opportunity to raise money for a couple of really good charities.
Yeah, so what are those charities then? Let's talk about that now.
The Royal Hospital Chelsea, my home.
Of course.
You know, we do get funding, but there is a shortfall, and so we do need to raise funds. It is a charity in its own right. And so I thought, well, that would be good. But War Child is my most favourite charity. I've got such admiration for War Child, and I thought, great opportunity to raise money for War Child. So on one end of the spectre, you've got the children. On the other end of the spectre, you've got old men like me. You know,
and that's what it's all about, though, isn't it, Amanda? Sort of crossing the age gap and bringing people together.
Absolutely, and I think probably what Alan does is he kind of embodies the sort of philosophy behind the charity, because when we set this up, we thought we partly want to commemorate the 1418 war, and there's been a lot happening up until the end of last year, obviously, which was the 100th anniversary. But we really want to look beyond that because we've got no living relatives anymore who served in that war. And for many people, it's becoming a little bit distant. So it was, how can we make it relevant to today and to our young people today and to our communities today? And that's about looking forward. And what is the great legacy of war? Well, the legacy of war is peace. And we all want to make sure we never have another global conflict of the kind that we had in 1418 and in 39 to 45. So how can we do that? Well, we can do something which is essentially an incredibly peaceful activity which is walking. And it was inspired by a letter from actually a troop, one of the troops who wrote home, a young man in 1915 who wrote home and said, when the war is over, I hope the French and the British government will come together and create a path for pilgrims, a peaceful walking route, and every man, woman and child can walk along that route and remember the damage that war does. So we took that idea and we said, let's make a path for peace, if you like, a remembrance route that goes beyond just thinking about the loss of the war, because that's terribly important, but for a lot of people, it's where do we go next? So that's what we're doing. We're looking at peaceful walking, and walking is essentially a very peaceful activity. Very low carbon footprint, unlike Formula One. You know, I have to say that.
We have the two extremes.
Yeah, we do. You know, sustainability runs through everything. But also, it's also very accessible, because although it's a very long way, we're not expecting everybody to walk quite as far as Alan does in his venture. And we're pleased that you're talking about the Camino, because we see ourselves as a new Camino, really. But the point about this walk is you can dip in and out. So you could walk for 20 kilometres, 40 kilometres, you could walk for 1 day, 5 days, 10 days, it doesn't matter. And it's actually about making it accessible to everybody. And we're hoping that young people will go over and walk as part of their trip to the battlefields rather than just sitting in a coach. That people will feel they can go over and find distant relatives and then walk on and see what the communities are like now. Because France and Belgium are beautiful countries and they have some fabulous walking country.
How has it been getting all the countries and communities to work together on this project? Because, I mean, Danny, you know all about project management and taking on something that's really big and saying, yes, we'll do that, and work out how you do it later.
It relies on teamwork always, absolutely.
I think you probably have a huge advantage, is that you've got a set number of people and they've all got more or less the same aim. We've got it's like herding cats. We've got hundreds of different communities and individuals, and two countries to work with Belgium and France. Very difficult, because it's quite ambitious to do 1,000 kilometres from you know, Newport on the Belgian coast right down to Vetterhaus on the Swiss Alp border.
To bring that together.
So it's been a big project. And it's a work in progress, really, and that's why Alan's walk is so important to us.
Well, of course, because the kind of final route is not defined yet, and it's a movable feat. So, of course, Alan going, he's a bit of a pathfinder for you in a way, because information he can sort of bring back and talking to the local communities might help you shape the walk moving forward.
Absolutely. I think he's a pioneer, really, and I think he embodies that spirit of kind of adventure and exploration, and that's really what walking's about, because walking is very personal. So what works for one person as a route might not work for another. And we were chatting earlier and you were saying you really like to walk along waterways and walk by water. And of course there's some fantastic canal walks through France, but there are bits that aren't by water, so you may choose to deviate, but that's fine. We don't want to dictate where people go.
Well, of course it was your project in Chelsea that got you together in the first place, and then of course a visit to McLaren. And I know then that you, hearing about Alan's walk, reconnected with him again recently. And what happened there?
Yeah, so almost 3 years on, we've got to this stage now where we're about to say goodbye to our project in Chelsea. And I was thinking of Alan all the time about, you know, how do we reconnect? How's he getting on? And of course, that prompted me to reach out. And before I knew it, it had all timed perfectly with probably 3 things, really. One was finding out that Alan was doing this amazing walk. 2, obviously, the British Grand Prix, which was coming up in Silverstone, which I knew would be a big favourite for Alan. And an opportunity to go back to McLaren again and actually reconnect and bring some more fellow pensioners along that were Formula One fans. And all of a sudden it was like the planets lining up. So it was meant to be, and it was just an absolute must for me that we did the show about this.
So lucky you, Alan, got to go back to McLaren again.
I did, and we had another amazing day. I took along 3 other pensioners that hadn't gone the first time, and they just loved the day. You know,
bet they did.
We spoke of nothing else on the way back in the car. Just on and on. Amazing. So,
well, unfortunately, Amanda and I didn't get to partake in the Petrolhead Day, but we did send our cameras down. So take a look at how the guys got on.
So today we've got a very special group in with Lucas, the Chelsea pensioners. I've already had a quick chat with them. They are big Formula One fans, so really looking forward to taking them around and showing them a little bit behind the scenes what we have here at McLaren. To rub shoulders with these people, just to and appreciate, you know, just what they've given to our country in the past. So yeah, an absolute pleasure to be looking after them today. So we've been looking after Lucas and their VIPs for the last 8 or 9 years. So the amount of downforce they were creating, plus the inertia running through, you can see where they're mounted. Yeah, they were just snapping off. So the front wing developed, in a very short period of time, developed the nickname the guillotine. Which, doesn't really need any more explanation, does it? The boulevard is incredibly special, and, we'll hear some pretty special names along the way. Very successful period, Chapter 2, 70 to 80, Emerson Fittipaldi. He won the World Championship in 1974. And in fact, this car, the M23, it debuted in 1973, and we ran it until 1978. So it ran for 5 years. Please feel free, yeah.
I mean, Formula One's come a long way, but Lego's come even further.
Okay, so this is the Lego 720S. Now, there are 280,000 pieces of Lego. It took over 20,000 hours to build. You could queue up, make a small donation and put a piece of Lego on the car. Really? So it was a great initiative.
Smashing.
Lego brakes and everything.
Yeah. Lego brakes.
It's actually 300 kilograms heavier than the actual car. Okay, so I don't know whether that says how heavy Lego is or how light our road cars are. But remember when I told you our first race win was Bruce McLaren, 1968? It was in Belgium. So it's incredibly special in that respect. Bruce didn't realise he'd won. Fellow Kiwi, he ran down the pit lane. He actually got Bruce out of the car. He picked him out of the car and he hugged him. And he congratulated him on winning the Grand Prix. Bruce said it's the best news he'd ever heard. It's about what it's like to be part of McLaren, to be able to walk through there every day and experience the success.
Oh, wow.
Photo block that we have of the day here that we've had at McLaren.
That is amazing.
Which will find pride of place, hopefully, at the Royal Hospital.
It will.
And I look forward to coming down and seeing you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Having a look at these, so fantastic.
Wow, I wish Amanda and I had been there. That looked great.
It was an epic day. Absolutely electric feeling we had that day.
Yeah, so obviously you guys had a great day.
We did. We had an amazing day. And I just want to say thanks to Danny again for the 2 tickets that you gave me for the British Formula One. My grandson and I had an amazing weekend.
Yes,
really.
Just before the McLaren visit was obviously the Silverstone
Brilliant.
Grand Prix, and I got some great feedback from Alan while he was there. He was wearing his McLaren shirt and really supporting the team, which was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, well, that was a good day, but another amazing day is en route. The clock is ticking. The 4th of August.
4th of August,
This
step
is
one,
when your journey
day one,
begins.
step one. And yeah.
Now, I feel as though we should be having this chat with you on the running machine, because clearly you've been in training, have you?
I have. I've been walking with my pack since the end of March.
So this is the pack down here?
That's the pack.
Looks pretty heavy. I have enough trouble coming in here with my handbag and my makeup and my clothes and everything.
Yeah. I repacked completely yesterday, hoping to get rid of some bits and pieces to lessen the weight, but I managed to get rid of a couple of bits, but then I found another couple of bits to put in. So, but it's 26 pounds plus the water.
Yeah.
So about 28 pounds.
Yeah, so it's pretty hefty.
Yeah, it's pretty hefty, but it's closely fitted, so the weight is shared across the body.
Yeah,
so
good.
not
Well balanced.
Yeah. So Amanda, what can Alan expect sort of along the route then, do you think?
I mean, our experience has been that we've got some colleagues who've been out just the last few weeks helping us to put up the plaques. I'm going to get my visual aid out here.
Tell me more about the plaques.
So these have been going up, and the idea is there's about 250 of these will go up eventually, but so far we're up to about 84. And they represent the 4 flowers of remembrance, so obviously the poppy, and the cornflower for France, the daisy for Belgium, and the forget-me-not for Germany, because we mustn't forget that this was a war that we fought in conflict with our now friends and allies in Germany. And so the plaques go up, and they're designed to be easily recognisable, and they'll go up on town halls and visitor centres and tourist centres. And there's some in Vimy Ridge, which is the big Canadian memorial, and there's quite a few in Ypres, and so they're all along the route.
So if Alan, during his time there, thinks actually this would be a really good place to visit and put a plaque, he can feed that back to you guys.
He can. We've got some leaflets that he's going to take, hopefully not adding too much to his weight. They're in French that he can just drop into a tourist office. And we're really keen that he feeds back areas that he thinks are interesting. And we've mapped out where we think the best way to go is if you run along that route. But as I said, it's quite personal, and so people might feel that they want to change some of the destinations. And what we've been finding is that the communities we work with are saying, fabulous, we'd love to be on the route, but actually we'd like you just to go a little bit to the left. Yeah. Which is why we haven't got a very formally marked path. So it's that pioneer pathfinding is really important to us. So hopefully you'll spot some of these.
I should be looking out for those because there'll be confirmation I'm not lost. It'd be great to have that confirmation.
And in the super digital world, you can always drop us a quick WhatsApp or an email.
Yeah,
and we
'cause
can
of
say,
course-
actually, Alan, you've just taken the wrong turning there. So.
Alan, you guys are going to be connecting. Well, not only you two, but we can all connect with you. So you're doing a WhatsApp group?
Yeah, so a WhatsApp group for family, friends, supporters. It's growing by the day. WhatsApp's quite funny. I'm new to WhatsApp. But I'm sure not everybody that's on the group realises that when they type something in, everybody in the group can see it.
Yeah.
Because we've had some really, we've had some great laughs looking at some of the comments and things.
Say no more. That's another show. Say no more.
Yeah, and obviously we'll be connecting, and Alan will be sharing his photographs, and we'll
Yeah.
put those on our website and all our social media handles and things. And what I'm particularly pleased about is that as a charity, we're not a fundraising organisation, so we're not looking for any money at all. So we can get wholeheartedly behind your charitable fundraiser.
So, Alan, let me get the numbers right here. You probably know them, but I'm not sure. So how long is the distance you're walking?
So it's 610 miles, is that
Depends which route you take, because we're saying
Okay.
about 1,000 kilometres, but I think, 610 will probably cover it.
Ish.
Ish.
And that's it, you see, because it's not marked yet. So,
No, so it could be what you want it to be, really. I mean, and
But yeah, there's a rough
how
estimate.
long are you guessing it's going to take you?
Well, I want to walk a minimum of 10 a day, so
Right.
each day I'll do 10. But I may walk 15. It really depends on how I'm feeling, what the day's like. You know, if I'm chatting with someone, if somebody's walking with me, it just makes the whole thing so much easier.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I reckon it will take me maybe 6, possibly 7 weeks. Generally speaking, 10 miles a
Well,
day.
certainly.
Depends on the terrain as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah.
So
and the
some of it's
weather
quite flat.
sometimes,
Sure.
you know.
And easy walking, so along those canals
Yeah.
of that Somme. And some of it, when you get down to the Chemin de Dam, it's pretty hilly, and
Yeah.
at the end, you're in the Alps, and it's very,
Yeah.
very high. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that because it's near the end.
It is. Well, before you get to the end, you've got to go to the beginning with your bag. And Danny, I know, has got a few little goodies for you to help you along the way.
I don't want to add more weight here. I mean, Alan's already spoken about not taking too much and lightening the load, but I'm hoping that this
Go on,
won't
what
be.
have you got? You
this
might have
won't
to
be
take
too
some
much.
pants out to
so,
make room
So
for it.
we have got a few bits and pieces in our Lucas goodie bag here for you, Alan, that we hope you will enjoy. But some practical stuff as well that I hope will sort of help you along the way. You may already have one, but we've got a small French phrase book that hopefully will come in very handy. Although
Yeah,
you may
sure,
speak
that'll-
French, I'm not
that'll
sure.
help.
Thank you.
I think, again, I can't give him this for the whole of the 6-week period, but certainly to give you the boost on the way.
That's looking good.
We've got some grenade energy bars here for you, which I think will just kick-start things
That's
for
it,
you.
all right.
That's definitely going in the bag. though.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
start your
yeah.
high speed.
And again,
one more thing.
well, we've got one. Well, we've actually got some small tins of baked beans here, Alan, that we think will be very handy. Just a few of those.
I mean, it says rations we're giving here.
And something to
Okay.
to drink on the way. Yeah.
And that's as light as a feather, so that can go in the bag.
It is.
Yeah,
There
and,
you go.
And of course,
Finally.
we've got
Brilliant.
a couple of Lucas t-shirts. We've got a
Excellent.
blue and a green, so there's both of those in here.
Lovely.
And to keep the sun out of your eyes,
Yeah.
of course, we've
The
got a Lucas
yeah,
can.
yeah. And
That is from the Lucas team with our compliments, Alan, and absolutely
go.
wishing you the very best.
thank
of
you
course.
very, very
Now,
much.
of course, Alan, we're expecting some selfies in this multimedia time of you in the Lucas gear en route,
Of course.
WhatsApping,
Eating the beans.
eating the beans with your cap on,
Yeah.
drinking your whiskey out your cup by then, probably.
Of course, yeah. Or champagne in champagne.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Oh, that sounds more. I might come out and visit you
Yes.
on that one. Now, of course, in the olden days, Alan would have come in here with his sponsorship form and we'd have passed it around the crew and everyone would have signed their names and put their donation. But that's not how it happens today, is it? So how do people get in touch? It's a Just Giving page.
Yes, I have a Just Giving page, and people can go to that page and either give a donation to Chelsea, a donation to War Child, or split the donation between the two.
Brilliant. So
Fantastic.
get donating. Thank you so much for coming in, Amanda. It's been brilliant to hear a little bit more about the charity and obviously for you to meet Alan in the flesh here today. Alan, You've been a joy, hasn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. It's been a real pleasure to have Alan in the
So
studio.
best of luck. Don't forget, WhatsApp us in. We want pictures. And I know we brought you here in a car today, but we thought maybe if you walked home, it might be a good bit of training. Is that all right?
That sounds
I'm
good.
kidding. Well, that brings us to the end of another fantastic show. Of course, we want you to get in touch in the meantime. Danny, just remind everyone.
Yeah, so it's all about subscribing to the channel, and it's about making sure that you connect with us. We want to engage with you. It's really important that we get your feedback and your comments, because we really want to reach out to everybody here. And I think this particular show has been hugely powerful. So it's definitely all about getting behind what Alan's doing, getting on that Just Giving link and really supporting an amazing cause with the War Child charity.
All right then, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.